Hi, this is Juliet. Welcome back to my studio. This is an intro to a couple of videos I've put together showing you different ways of making leaves. They include leaf beads and leaves on headpins. I use a variety of different leaf pressing tools and patterning techniques with frits and glass, and some of them are designed to be constructed off mandrel with a bail. Some of them are on a mandrel where the bead becomes the hanger and it has the leaf off of it. The others are on headpins, and I use a variety of different kind of presses. You can see this style versus this style, and this one here is a different one, and this is yet another one. So there's a whole number of ways you can make leaves. So make sure you click like and subscribe, and there will be a set of 4 of these coming out in the coming days. Thanks for viewing. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make a pair of leaves together. These are really good for making little tiny ones that match. So I have here a length of the canthil wire, probably 5 inches or so, and I'm going to bend it in half like this, and each one of these is going to accept a leaf. So I'm going to use my trick tool from Bronwyn, slide it in there and tighten it up, and it's going to let me make 2 at once. So I got that snug, and I'm going to just kind of separate them, pull them a little bit further apart so I have a little bit of manipulating room here. And since you have the 2 on the tool at once, you can actually get them to a little bit better match. So for this one, I'm going to use these little teeny tiny grabbers that have the little grooves in it, and they're good for really little things. So let me fire up the torch. Make sure that you store your lighter, if you have one like me, in a safe place. And mine is kept in the drawer underneath my workbench, where I won't accidentally get any hot bits of flame flying and landing on it. Okay, so for this I'm going to use the firecracker frit from Glass Diversions, and I'm going to again use some clear glass. So the first step here is to melt and just put a small amount of glass on each of these 2 ends of the canthil wire. And you could also use a pair of hemostats for this if you don't have this tool. I like the tool because it turns nicely in your hand and it's a larger diameter, so it's really good. You don't get hand strain fatigue either. I'm just heating the tips up, getting them a little bit glowing red. Add some glass on one, get it all the way around, and then you add a bit of glass on the other. Now I tend to go back and forth, work one, let it cool a little bit, and then work the next one. Get the glass added. And since they're both fairly close to one another, there is a bit of radiant heat hitting both, so you know we're working pretty small here, so you can add a bit of glass to one, give it a bit of heat, add a bit of glass to the other while you're paying attention to gravity from the first one. So it's a good way to practice just kind of heat control and watching 2 things at once, and can be frustrating until you kind of get the hang of it and you learn to read when is the glass going to stop moving. But it's a nice way to get 2 small matching little head pins. I say these are great for earrings. I crank out a lot of them. I support the Watershed Stewards Academy, a environmental nonprofit, and I sell hundreds of pairs of earrings as fundraisers. 100% goes to the WSA. Anyway, okay, so now I'm going to round this one up a little bit. Okay, let it sit there and cool a bit. While it's cooling a bit, I'm going to round up the other one, and then I'm going to go one at a time into the frit. Alright, let me get that centered and rounded up a bit. Now I'm going to go back to the first one, heat it up enough so it will accept some frit from my frit bowl. Okay. Melt that in. You can see I'm angling the torch to get at the stuff on the top edge of it without heating up the wire so much, so you don't want to burn it off the wire. Alright, so let that melt in a bit, and I'll get the second one hot enough to pick up some frit on all edges, go into my frit thing. You can see I can put the other one below so I can get all the way around on my little blob of glass to pick up the frit. A little bit of heat on the first one. They're fairly small, and it's, you know, in the radiant heat of the flame, and occasionally it passes through the flame, so you don't have to worry too much about it cracking, but you see it cooling off a bit, you can add a bit of heat. Plus I have a few bits of frit that aren't fully melted, so might as well work on that at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to get this one a little bit better centered. And you can use gravity to your advantage. And so you want to get both of them to be in a round state. If one is more teardroppy than the other, you want to have that match, because that will affect the shape of it after you squish them. All right, let me switch hands and get my masher ready. So these are fairly well balanced. So I'm going to take this one and heat it around from all sides so that it's soft. Trying not to heat my wire too much. I'm getting a little bit of heat on it, but. And then I'm going to center it in my tool and mash it. And there you go, a nice little vein. So I'm going to let that cool in the air a bit, and I'm going to heat the second one. Center it in my tool and mash it. Okay, there we go. So now I want to pull the points out a little bit. Let's see, we'll try using the cold glass join method. So I want to heat this up, not too much so I lose the veins. Push the point and pull it out. So this is a cold join, you can just tap it right off. Let's heat up the second one a little bit. You want to heat it from both sides, and you want to heat it far enough up so that it doesn't just pull like a stringer off the point. It actually pulls the whole shape of the leaf down. You can see it thinning the leaf down. There we go. So they are fairly well matched in terms of color, size, how far I pull the point. Okay, so there we go. Two more or less matched leaves for the kiln. I'm going to loosen this, grab them, and pop them in the kiln, and they're going to come out in a matched set.
Alright guys, so here is our finished matched set, perfect for making a pair of earrings. Just be sure that if you are going to wire wrap them into a pair of earrings like you see in this picture, that you don't pull it too tightly against the glass because it could cause them to crack.
So there are a number of things you can use leaves on headpins for. The first, most obvious one, is if you're making 2 per 1, you can make earrings, and they will more or less match. The other thing you can do is wind the wires and make small bails, and you can hang them in jewelry. I've made a number of pieces of jewelry. I tend to make coordinated spacers and put a small bead on either side of the bail, which makes it look nice and finished in the finished necklace. The other thing you can do is use the leaves, and you can make flowers and all sorts of other things too, and make little mini flower arrangements. So I put it in this glass vial. You can also blow a hollow vase. And I just placed the stems down in some 2-part epoxy. I used a syringe to put the 2-part epoxy in here. And they're in there pretty rigidly. They are not coming out anytime soon. And it makes a cute little flower arrangement. This is a larger size glass vial. I have some that I've made in smaller size glass vials too. And if you're into blowing glass, you can also blow your own small vases. I have another tutorial about blowing hollow vessels, and you can easily adapt those ideas and make your own small little vessels. Here's another idea you can use the glass leaves for. If you make them on the end of memory wire, you can then also wire wrap the part around the middle
and make a pretty
Thank you so
simple
much for
voice
watching.
as
I hope
well.
you enjoyed this leaf
Okay,
tutorial.
have
Be
fun
sure
with
to hit
these.
the subscribe
Bye.
button and check out the full playlist that incorporates 4 different leaf bead designs. Happy fall season!